Space is cold, honey. Let's get you warmed up.
Hello everyone and welcome back to our Moze 2.0 build. Now there have been some dramatic changes. The Butcher is not a shield breaker anymore, the Nighthawk has been taken away from the team as it's been severely debuffed, the Layuda is not a one-hit wonder anymore, and the Snow Drift is a necessity for every Moze. We will include a small clip at the end of the video with the Ps4 Savefile and relevant weapons that are included. But with this build you will be able to take all of Mayhem 4 with ease and the new Midnight Cairn event. Not the regular one, but the current. Now the Cutsman is a legendary submachine gun manufactured by Maliwan. It is obtained from Borman Nates located in Meridian outskirts on Promethea. Little android man born without a soul, the red text reads. Its projectiles pierce enemies and stretch horizontally as they travel forward. It can hit large target multiple times per shot, and this can result in very high damage against bosses with large hitboxes, making the Cutsman essential in the build, replacing the shield breaker as the Butcher. It comes in different elements, and the corrosive might be an interesting option to have at hand. The legendary Hyperion build Butcher. Returning from Borderlands and Borderlands 2, how can we not have it in our lineup? The red text reads fresh meat. It has reduced pellet count, increased fire rate. This means that it fills the role of an assault rifle or submachine gun while having the high damage output of a shotgun. The Butcher will be your close contact, high output gun, and you will use it with different elements. In this build, the only switch you will normally use will be with corrosive, as you will need it for Midnight Cairn and other armor breaking occasions. But as you know, incendiary is also a very good melter. Now if you prefer close combat, then the cash infused the Butcher can be switched for the Maliwan, but the Maliwan melts bosses faster. The Defrauding Butcher is a must-have for this build, as you will regularly switch between incendiary and corrosive damage for high armored enemies. The combination of incendiary boost plus corrosiveness and the Butcher will have a high output damage to high armored enemies. The most powerful SMG in Borderlands 3, the Redistributor takes the place of the Nighthawk. Can be obtained from Wotan the Invincible. The red text reads, man reach exceeds his imagination, and it makes sense when you see it in action. The amp shot effect is not tied to the magazine, and if the 7th shot is the first shot in the new magazine, then the effect will also be triggered. This is an extremely effective weapon for crowd control, as the chain shot can weaken enemies that the character hasn't engaged yet but are close by. For this build, we are using the radiation, as it does have the bonus of the incendiary on our build that can be used with the radiation. But you also should use an incendiary redistributor if you have, as it is extremely powerful and you can double chain shots by using the radiation first and the incendiary one after. Having already made himself as the king of rocket launchers in Borderlands 3, the Iron Cannon comes in hot, replacing the Layuda. It can be obtained from the Fabricator located in Jack's Secret. The red text reads, fun detected, obliterate, drastically increased weapon damage when you hold up the weapon charge. With high damage and pinpoint accuracy, this weapon can reliably kill most mob type enemies in 1 or 2 hits, making this your ticket out of any death situation. It is a crucial part of the build, as you will be using the Iron Cannon incorporated with the 40% absorption on the transformer shield in order to pave your way through any situation or any mob type situation on all of Mayhem 4. Returning from Borderlands 2, and in reference to the Transformers franchise, the Transformer is a legendary absorb shield manufactured by Hyperion. There is more than your eye can see, the red text reads. It converts 100% of the shock damage into shield damage and has a 40% chance to absorb bullets and add them to your magazine. Now this shield is crucial for the Fire Moze 2.0 build, as you will heavily rely on the absorption for the iron cannon, which will always be your ticket out of any second win or inevitable death. Now the lowlife has a great spread in the skill tree. You may want to use a bloodletter, but this is what we feel is better. We have included one in the save file on the video. Now in terms of grenades, the Ghost Call and the Cairn are your go-to depending on what damage you will need to be doing. Now a new addition to this build is the Snowdrift Deathless. The Snowdrift allows you to have a slide speed 102% bonus, which will get you out of death situations all the time, making it extremely useful on any sort of build with Moze. On top of this, with the extreme shell regeneration and the extra bonuses, makes this a very interesting artifact to have. Now this build focuses strongly on bottomless mags and retribution. Demolition Moment will not have any points, but there will be a future video on an interesting build we have. We will start with Armored Infantry, which adds gun damage and damage reduction, making it 15% and 13%. Now we will be moving to Thin Red Line, where a portion of Moze's health is reserved and cannot be restored, but her maximum shield is increased by the same amount, bringing it to 100% with the already 2 points from Tenacious D. Lot of Ingenuity increases max shield and shock resistance, adding to the 100%, we have a 47% from the Transformer. Experimental Munitions adds 10% of all damage dealt to bonus incendiary damage, and it is a necessity for this build. Now we might put points in Drowning in Brass, but we won't, because we will be using another way than our previous build, as these only last for 15 seconds. We will be putting a point in Selfless Vengeance, which every time you reload will add a portion of the health as incendiary damage bonus. We will be maxing out Behind the Iron Curtain, that adds 21% recharge rate and minus 19% recharge delay. Desperate Measures, where we already have 2 points, will be maxed out to 5, increasing 83%. The lower the health, the greater the increase. Last point on Force Feedback, after scoring crit, her shields begin immediately recharging. Now moving to Bottomless Mags. Focusing on fire, we will max out Cloud of Lead. Occasionally Moze and Iron Breath shots will deal incendiary damage and will consume ammo. Moving down to add 3 more on incendiary damage, boosting Stokes the Embers to 30% additional, and Redistribution, which after Moze scores a critical hit, she begins immediately regenerating ammo, 5% of the magazine for 3 seconds. Now to unlock the third tier, we put Match Set, which will add bonus to magazine side. We will max out Scorching RPM, which gives fire rate, critical hit, and Iron Bear damage. Maxing out Iron Band, which will add magazine size to 35%. And finally reaching Click Click, which already has 1 point from our class mod. Moze gains increased gun damage as her magazine empties. The less ammo there is remaining, the greater the increase. This reaches an additional 48%. Now the last 3 points will be back on Shield of Retribution. We used to have them in Drowning in Brass, 1 in Drowning and 1 in Phalanx, but the 4% plus the 15-second stack is not suitable anymore, as Phalanx Doctrine also increases max shield, giving you a better redistribution layout. In terms of guns, it's more up to you. We use the minigun with exploding bullets as we are more of the high damage rather than the splash, but as you can see on different builds, you choose what you want.
NANI?!
Now the Ps4 Savefile will include all the crucial elements of this build, and we have included a melee 1 Cutsman fire element. We were unable to find the Butcher fire, but have included a shock on the other hand for console. Now if you do not know how to use save files, please be sure to look it up, as we don't want to be responsible for any accidental account deletions, but the way that it works, it's pretty straightforward. Always try to save your game before. We'll be posting interesting new build videos to come, and if you did enjoy this video and our build, please be sure to leave a like and subscribe. Thank you for watching, and please be sure to check out the new Midnight Cairn.